Good morning everyone, and welcome to a beautiful day in the nation's capital. I'm Andrew Sheridan. I'm the Vice President of Regulatory and Public Affairs for Optus. This is a very exciting and milestone day for Optus, and we're delighted that you could join us at Majura Tennis Club in the nation's capital today. Today I'm joined by a number of members of the Optus executive team. I have Mr. Alan Liu, our CEO, who you'll hear from shortly. Also have Dennis Wong, our Managing Director of Networks, and also Mr. Ben White, our Managing Director of Product and Marketing. In a moment, Alan's going to talk to you about our very exciting plans for 5G and the leadership position we're going to take in this new technology. Once Alan's spoken, I'm going to hand over to Dennis, who's going to give you a demonstration of the technology that's working live here today in the field. Following that demonstration, we'll hand over to some questions, and once we wrap up the questions, we'll allow some time for one-on-one interviews before we wrap up this morning. So once again, thank you for joining us on this very exciting day for Optus, and with that I'll hand over to the Optus CEO, Mr. Alan Liu.
Good morning everybody, and a happy new year. This morning I'm really happy to be here to be part of a very significant and historic event for Optus and for Australia. Today, the 31st of January, we launch Australia's first commercial next generation telecommunication service called Optus 5G Home Broadband. 5G, or the fifth generation of mobile technology, is a new mobile network that will offer unprecedented bandwidth, low latency, fast mobility, and high capacity, which over the next few years will support a set of broad new applications for consumers and for enterprises. Much of the work that Optus has done over the last 12 months has been to get ourselves ready for 5G. Everything that we've done, from fiber deployments to our cell sites, agreements with city councils, testing and field trialing our network with our engineers and with our partners, our operations teams, our marketing and installation teams, coupled with the knowledge from our infrastructure partners, have provided us valuable insights, leading us to be able to bring the best that 5G has to offer to Australia. And today we are very proud that we are bringing the very first application of 5G using our new 5G network to provide this new home broadband service. We are the first carrier in Australia, perhaps even in the world, to enable the commercialization of fixed wireless technology using the latest global standard, what in our industry we call 3GPP, Release 15 September specifications. And we're doing this at scale. And we are proud to be able to bring this to residences across Australia, starting right here with two suburbs in Canberra, in the Dixon suburb where we're at, and Manuka, and one in Glendenning in Sydney. And gradually over the next 14 months, in capital cities across Australia and in regional cities, we will be bringing this Optus 5G home broadband service as we deploy 1,200 base stations by March 31st, 2020. Optus 5G home broadband will be priced at $70 a month for unlimited data with a guaranteed minimum speed of 50 megabits per second. Today, we launch an Expressions of Interest campaign for residents in these 3 suburbs on our website. We are confident that with the 5G technology from our infrastructure partners, the enhanced active antennas on our cell towers, and the base station or the gateway that we're putting in people's home with a higher antenna gain, we will be able to deliver an excellent ultra high speed home broadband experience for our customers. Since it's a new technology, we will be hand-holding the first 50 customers with a professional installation and with dedicated support to ensure that they have a good experience with our new product. But eventually, all Optus 5G home broadband customers will be able to get it from our stores and have it working immediately as they leave the shop. And they will be able to then bring the device on my right home and place it flexibly in any point of their house. It's a much neater home broadband solution with no wires, no cables leading into people's homes or within their homes. Optus is proud to be working with our partners to bring this first application of this cutting-edge technology to all Australians. It delivers on Optus's promise of providing an exceptional network, an exceptional service, and exceptional value to all people and businesses here in Australia. Our early experience with 5G will give us a sustainable competitive advantage as we continue to work with this new technology as it evolves to enhance the speed of our home broadband service. We will also look forward to use this competitive advantage and experience that we've gained with 5G to bring 5G mobile services in the middle of this year when devices become available, and Australians can also look forward to more 5G applications that utilize the capabilities of 5G in terms of ultra reliable low latency communications and massive machine type communications in the years ahead. Thank you very much. I will now introduce Dennis Wong, our Managing Director of Networks, who's going to demonstrate this technology and how it can be used in homes by our customers. Over to you, Dennis.
Thanks, Alan. Morning, everyone. Surprised at why we chose this place. Now, Dixon is a typical Australian suburbs or residential small businesses, and that's where the first use case of 5G will be. And that's why we are here to show you a couple of things. First, over there on the antenna out there, the small square box, that's the 5G live running. It is not transmitting for show. It is transmitting with a live service connected to the internet. As you can see from here, it's on YouTube and it's running 4K. And in the van itself, there's another 2 stream of 4K running. And with me, on my phone, I'm also connected to the 5G using the Wi-Fi. What I'm going to show to you is actually a typical setup of how a home is being used. And over here, you can see that we are running on 60 megahertz. We are running a consumed, not a capacity, a consumed rate of 60 to 75 Mbps, which means that there are more capacity available. This is what's happening. And over here, when this little screen goes away, you can see it's 3.456 gigahertz. That's where our spectrum is. So all in all, we are showing you that this 5G is running live through a network and is going to go commercial. Now, some of the use case I'm going to show you is probably, like say this is my phone, my kids chose to cover for me. Now, I'm going to ask Steve, maybe Steve can help me. This is my WhatsApp. I'm going to make a call. So maybe you can choose Alan or Ben or whatever. You make a call. Cool. Yeah, which one do you want? Alan. Okay.
Alan didn't bring his mobile phone.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to call Ben then. Ben? Phone ring?
Yep.
Ben.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Ben.
Well,
So is this history? We're creating history right now? Or?
there you go. So you can see that the service is running, and that's what we call the live customer service. Now, while we are looking at these speeds, this is a very cynical moment for every one of us. Why? Remember, when 3G first started, the speed was 384 kilobits per second. As it progressed, as the technology evolved and the technology matured, the ecosystem become better, 3G delivered 21 meg in the same channel. What happens at 4G? When 4G first started, it was 1020 Mbps, megabits per second. Today, with the technology, the same 20 megahertz channels is giving you 300 megabits per second. So today, at the start, we are having more than 100 meg on the 5G. With the system, with the stability, with the software, with the features being progressively improving, with the technology maturing, we are going to see significant potential coming off 5G. And that's why this is what we say a small step, but it's giant for us. So with this, I'm going to close my presentation. I'm going to hand over to Alan for the Q&A. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I hope you are suitably impressed by what you've seen. I think we are the very first telco to talk about commercializing a service and make it real for all Australians. So people who are living in these 3 suburbs can sign up on our website and they can get that service. We'll handhold them and we'll make it available to them. So with that, I'll be very happy to take any questions from any of you. Yeah.
How soon, Alan, will we be seeing 5G handsets on the Optus network?
Yeah, it depends very much on the handset device manufacturers. I think obviously they're waiting for the global standard to be finalized, and that was finalized in September. I believe they're all busy, developing their handsets. If you've been to the latest latest consumer electronics show in the US, indications are that the first 5G devices will probably come up in the middle of this year. So it's around the May-June time frame, and obviously we are in discussions with these manufacturers of devices to bring these handsets into Australia and to work with us to test these handsets with our 5G networks as soon as they have the prototypes available.
Mr.
Yeah,
Liu,
yes.
$70 a month at 50 megabits per second guaranteed. Is this network an NBN killer? Why would anyone need fibre?
Yeah, I think as Dennis has mentioned, the 5G technology will go through an evolution. Today we are comfortable at offering 50 megabits per second. Over time, the speed would increase. We see this as complementary rather than, as you mentioned, an NBN killer. There are 25% of homes in Australia that want the flexibility of a wireless solution to their homes, and this meets the needs of some of these customers. Now, if they happen to be living in areas where perhaps the speeds that they are getting are not quite what they expected, they can definitely get our service because we are guaranteeing them 50 megabits per second at a minimum today.
Are you taking on the NBN though?
No, I think we believe we are complementing the NBN. I think the NBN has a different set of solutions. We believe that our solution will meet the needs of households that want a flexible home broadband solution.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, two questions. One, how much additional capacity is 5G delivering? One of the things that people were complaining about with 4G is that it's a limited capacity, can't replace the NBN because there's only so many people, but 5G is supposed to deliver much more capacity, more simultaneous users. So how many more simultaneous users can you have on 5G compared to 4G? And the second question is that last year there were reports on US mainstream media of firefighters in San Francisco with 5G fixed towers feeling unwell when the 5G was switched on. And then they said that when they moved to other fire stations, there were no unwell feelings. What testing have you done to ensure that 5G is safe, or is this just another conspiracy theory?
Thank you. Two very good questions. Let me answer the first one in terms of the capacity and what people can expect as these cell towers get more and more customers. I think the first thing to remember is 5G is the latest evolution of mobile network technology. It's designed for data, it's designed for high speed, and it's designed for high data consumption. So it's a much more efficient way of handling data, video streams, gaming than the previous generation of technology of 4G. That's the first thing. The second important thing is, as a responsible service provider, we will make sure that we bring in the right number of customers to make sure that the experience that people have in their homes, plus in future the experience that people have on their mobiles, will be optimum for the speeds that they have brought. So we will not over congest and put too many people on our cell towers in any particular location. So I think Australians who are operating off Optus service can be assured of that on our 5G network. I think the second question that they had on the firefighters in California and how they felt after fighting their flames, I think this is something we will have to investigate a little bit further. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, but I assure you that health is certainly something that we are very, is very, very important to us, and we will make sure that we dig into this a little bit more and find out what was the cause of it and what was happening. I think in Australia's case, whenever we put up a cell tower, there's a lot of regulations around it in terms of what we can and cannot emit. And I assure you, the 5G that we have put up on this cell tower and all the other 1,200 that we're having over the next 14 months does conform to all the regulations regarding health and regarding safety when we put up our electronic equipment. Yes.
Just on the Huawei decision in relation to 5G, has that increased the cost of your ability to deliver this technology? And secondly, just on what's going on in the United States and so forth on Huawei, do you see Huawei as a security risk and as a thief of technology, and or do you think that this company is being unfairly treated?
Okay, two even better questions, especially the second one. But the first one, I think in Optus we've always had a multi-vendor strategy, and secondly, Optus, we are part of a bigger group called the Singtel Group. Having a multi-vendor strategy allows us not to just rely on one vendor, and we have a lot of different vendors, and we put them through a competitive bid. And we've, as a result of putting them through a competitive bid, have been able to get the pricing that we need in order to offer this service at what we call exceptional value to Australians, and yet make a reasonable margin so that our shareholders here in Optus can get a reasonable return on their investment. So the short answer to your question is, we have a target price in terms of what we want to are willing to bill on a per capita basis for this service to make sure it gets traction in Australia, and we've been able to achieve that target price, and a lot of that is through competition amongst the multi-vendors that we have available, despite the fact that Huawei is not allowed to provide 5G here in this country. Now, with regard to what's going on in the US and the accusations that have been made on Huawei, I think we'd rather not comment on that. I mean, it's going through a court process, so I think let's see what happens out of that. As far as security is concerned, as a responsible service provider, we have always worked for security of networks, security of essential services. We believe is very, very important, and we've always worked with the Australian regulatory authorities or the Australian security authorities to make sure that we have a secure network and that the security is primary in everything that we do. So that will continue to remain, and that's why our 5G network today does not have Huawei as part of our review.
Well, 4G has already broken the 1 gigabit barrier. We've got 4G chipsets that can do 1.2 gigabits. Obviously, that's only in the labs. In the real world, it's slower because there's more people on the network. But 5G was meant to be, 1 gigabit from the start. And you've explained that it's going to get faster. But how long before you think individual users on the network will each be getting a gigabit of speed or faster?
Yeah, to get those faster speeds requires three things to happen. I think we need to be able to get devices that can cope with these faster speeds and are able to deliver those faster speeds that come out from our network. So number one, we have to work with our partners to develop devices for us to allow that to happen. Number two, I think the technology needs to improve in the sense that we are unique in Optus, where in Sydney and Melbourne we have 100 megahertz of 5G spectrum. Everybody else only has a maximum of 60. We need that technology to be able to take the bandwidth and optimize the 100 megahertz to deliver the type of speeds that's potential out of 5G. And the third thing is we need to get all this done, and the chips need to be commercially viable, and everything needs to be done at scale so that it is affordable to the end user. So these three things need to happen. I think in labs and even in the Gold Coast, when we first showed our 5G showcase, we were able to show 2, if not 3 gigabits per second. So I think the potential is there. The question now is, how do we get the inverted commas ecosystem of manufacturers and partners to work together to develop it at a commercially viable, something that's commercially viable for everybody.
But do you think it might be a couple of years then before people are getting 1 gigabit speeds reliably?
I believe in the, in the human creativity, innovation, and I think on our experience in 3G and 4G, it probably be a bit less than that. But I'm not prepared at this time to tell you exactly when.
Just on the question of vendors like ZTE and Huawei,
Yeah.
if that's proven in America that they've discovered that Chinese suppliers' electronics becomes persona non grata, does that affect your whole infrastructure of technology and the way you roll out stuff? Because I imagine you'd have a lot of Chinese technology built into these towers and whatever.
Yeah, I think right now, I think what has been very clear is that 5G, we cannot use Chinese manufacturers at all in our infrastructure, and we've certainly made sure that that's the case. As far as other technologies, at this stage, only the core, we will be ripping out the Chinese vendors, and we will be using non-Chinese. The rest of the radio equipment, they depend on the core. Unlike 5G, which has greater capability in the radio base station, and that's why we've taken out the Chinese vendors from there. So the other technologies, if everything still needs to go through the core itself will give us a layer of protection, and the core is not from any of the Chinese vendors.
We might take 2 more questions, thanks.
Yes.
Just in the
Mr. Liu,
Yes.
Telstra said it's going to open up a new staff hub in India because there aren't enough sort of people with the necessary IT skills here in Australia. I'm just wondering, especially as you undergo this massive network rollout, is that something you're concerned about, a skills shortage, and what can we do if so?
Well, I think as far as we are concerned, the way that we do our software, the way we do our IT is in fact a mixture of IT people that we have here in-house in Optus. We do outsource some work even to Australian contractors, and we do outsource work to contractors that provide software development services to us in Philippines, in India, elsewhere across the globe, even in Eastern Europe. So I think we are already implementing a multinational effort of software vendors that help us do all these developments for 5G, 4G, and even for our own IT system. So what you mentioned just now is not new to us. We are already used to working in some multi-country environment. I don't think there is a particular shortage per se. I think what's probably more important is to decide which country has the right skill sets and the right cost structure to enable us to develop what we want to do it in the optimum way.
We'll take 1 more question.
The
please.
Australian Labor Party is at the moment considering whether to upgrade the NBN to fibre to the premise across the network, whether it would do that in government. Given what we see here, is there any need to spend taxpayers' money on that?
Yeah, I think that has to go through a bit more of a discussion. I think Australia is a huge country. I think certainly in certain cities, capital cities, if the density is right, I think 5G would be a good solution that doesn't need fiber to go to every single home. But as you get away from the highly densely populated cities and to the regional areas and into some less densely populated cities and suburbs, that may well not be the case. But obviously technology is always evolving, right? And cost of technology is always going down. So it's an ongoing discussion that we're going to have.
All right, we'll call it there. Thank you very much. If there's any additional questions, either myself or Anna Garcia can help you out.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, everybody. Thanks for coming.